Here are the four biggest fears that have kept me broke. Number one, fear of success. Number two, fear of failure. Number three, fear of abandonment. And number four, fear. I already said that. Of being seen. Right? Fear of being seen. So I want to break these down because I had a awesome tapping session this morning. I have been in this struggle, this financial struggle, well, really since I become a single parent. However, it has escalated since, I guess, over the last couple of years. I've switched careers. My license is still active as a registered nurse, but I haven't been practicing since I was in the pandemic, since the pandemic. And so I switched careers, and just a lot of things happening with my son and our relationship, and it's just one thing after another. And then actually today I was wondering if maybe I might be, if this house that I'm in could be cursed, because when I first moved in here, they were putting their stuff on the lawn. The sheriff was there. There was dog doo-doo and pee-pee all up in here. Anywho, that's a whole nother story. So let's start with number one. Okay, so ultimately, it's not, ultimately, the core issue is it's not safe to be rich and famous. That's the core fear, is safety. The core beliefs are rooted in safety, or me feeling a lack of safety. So ultimately, it's not safe to be rich and famous. And here are the fear-based thoughts and beliefs that are running the show. Okay, so number one, the fear of success. So fear of success, aka fear of being rich. I don't know, somewhere, I guess I have not been rich, quote unquote, by the 1% standard, but at this point I have struggled financially longer than I have when I graduated college and got out of my mom's pocket and was nursing. But when I was nursing, it was like, people think you're rich when you become a nurse. So there was a level of, I don't want to be taken advantage of. So the fear of success comes from feeling like the belief of I will be taken advantage of. And because when I did have money, that's kind of what it was. It was like there were certain people that, always asked me for money. I paid a couple of bills and then discovered that, they were, when payday came, they were taking that money, my money, and going shopping and not paying me back. I had someone, a friend that actually, I trusted them, and I gave them my card, or my debit card at the time, and they went and took out more money than they were supposed to. And so basically they just kind of like stole from me, and my checkbook balance. That's back when we were writing checks. And people would expect me to pay for things whenever we would go to eat. It was like kind of like the thing, I would buy gifts for certain people and then they wouldn't appreciate the gifts. Um, and so, you know, that kind of has like contributed to that fear. And so I was basically just kind of traumatized by that. So fear of success also means, people going to be asking you for money. Just, being concerns about being approached by like Hollyweird. Anyway, that's under the being successful, fear of being seen. Okay, anyway, so on to number 2. Fear of being famous. So being rich and famous, those are the 2 things I was tapping on today, because on the one hand, I was telling myself that these affirmations, that I've been listening to, I've listened to a lot of subliminals on YouTube, and I, try to talk to myself in affirmations and everything. But at the end of the day, you can say, I am rich, I am rich, I am rich, as much as you want to, but the brain has to believe it. Your subconscious has to believe it. That's actually where our actions come from. Our thoughts, bring up feelings, and then based on our feelings, they create our actions, and then the actions that we do or don't do bring about the results that we have, right? And so the fear of being famous, the core fear there is of being seen. But in particular, the beliefs that come around that, the thoughts that come around that is, number 1, celebrities. I don't really, my idea about celebrities and this whole Hollyweird, Luciferian, when I started becoming woke and learning about the Illuminati and all of those things. Well, they still kind of stick in my brain. So I don't really want to be associated with them type of people. And the fear that if I get too famous, then they gonna come for me and then they gonna want a piece of me. Right? Now it might sound delusional, but I'm not selling my soul for no kind of money. Right? And so that whole thing about famous people and rich people too, there's a belief that rich and famous people are greedy and selfish, and they're doing devilish things, sacrifices and stuff and all of that. And also, I just don't want to be associated with that. And then also the other thing, I also feel like I will be taken advantage of. That's kind of like there's an overlap there of the fear of being famous and fear of being seen and fear of being rich, because when you rich and famous, people are going to be asking you for money, and they're going to be expecting you to do something. So they're going to expect you to give them money. And so I would rather, I guess the idea is, so I just stay humble and I kind of hide my gifts, or I hide myself, because it's not safe to be myself. That's the safety issue there. It's not safe to be myself, because being myself and being too much I'm either too much or I'm not enough. I've been told before that, I talk too much, I ask too many questions, um, you know, which I do. I've been asking questions from the moment I popped out of my mama's hoo-ha. But all of those fears kind of play into that. And so, I stay humble and I stay high. I don't want to get too big for my britches. That's the other thing. And um, so there's that. Number two, three, where we at? Three. Fear of abandonment. I'll also lump in fear of judgment, fear of rejection. All of that is kind of like the same thing. There's a level of safety. It's not safe, again, to be myself. And also underneath that, being black, this is the other, I already kind of had like the light skin, pretty thing going against me, because people judge me on that. Like I used to, get judged for that because I'm either not, especially if I'm, okay, fear of, okay, scramble that. I'm also, there's going to have to be a lot of editing on this. I'm trying not to edit, but there's just might have to be some editing. I don't know. I'll have to see. Let me get myself together. Is there a way to pause this? Okay, I got it. Somewhere between me being judged for being light skinned and pretty, I developed this thought that being black equals being broke, right? So again, that fear plays out in me wanting to stay humble. I used to get, it's like when people would meet me, some of the things that people would say, like I didn't talk white, like I didn't, the whole not being black enough. I talked white or I acted white, I couldn't dance. I remember a long time ago when maybe I know I was like in elementary or middle school. I used to go all the time over to my paternal grandmother's house, and they all lived in the projects, right? And so I also like to say that I'm by way, like in order to kind of get that street cred, I like to say I'm by way of the projects, but I'm not from the projects. But I used to get teased a lot for, kind of acting white, talking white, because I've always been raised in predominantly diverse white neighborhoods, always gone to predominantly white schools. And my mother encouraged education, and I've always, talking with good grammar and all of that was pretty important, and knowing how to spell and all of that. And so, but I used to get a lot of flack for that. And so, in order to compensate, I would stay humble. And I would kind of hide again. And I remember a time when I was this even played out as an adult, as a nurse in the industry full of mean girls, when one of the girls that ended up becoming a really good friend, I don't know, people always kind of had this impression of me like I'm stuck up or something. But when they get to know me, they realize how down to earth I am. Everybody talks about how funny I am, and I'm just like the complete opposite. I'm very much, I guess friendly. Like, I don't know how to fight. I will press charges though, but because of that, I've always just been very friendly and inclusive and just outgoing. I'm an only child, so it was like my friends were my sisters and my family and every additional family. But people used to always kind of pick on me. I used to get bullied a lot. I heard you was talking about my mama, or she thinks she all that right there. So it was like my blackness was always being questioned. And so, again, that you can't get too big for your britches. You have to stay humble. So I also remember the very first time that I ever needed to get on food stamps as an adult, because I was on them. Was I on? No, I wasn't on them. No, that was Section 8 when I was in college. That don't really count. But since I started this journey of struggle after my divorce, and had to get on food stamps and everything, it was like, I didn't know. I didn't really know what to do or whatever. And so when it comes time to like renew and do all the other things, there were a certain group of people who kind of like would try to encourage me to, I guess, kind of scam the system. And I'm like, listen, I'm not a good liar at all. I am almost to a fault too honest. I'll be telling on myself. I will sing like a canary. You have to tell me. If you tell me something, you need to tell me. Don't say nothing. Because, well, when it comes to stuff, like people's privacy and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, I don't come to me and expect me to lie for you, because I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it for my child. I ain't doing it. No. So, because I always get caught. I'm the type that will get caught. Like, I did not, um, I was always too scared to try to get in the club and have like fake IDs or using fake IDs. When I was smoking weed, I never tried to like take the weed, take the, use somebody else's pee or try to do that whole thing. I just quit smoking because it'd be my luck. I've been done. The pee would be a splashing all over the place, and so this group of girls was like literally told me that because I didn't understand how the system worked. Oh, you ain't black. That literally said that you ain't black. You ain't black. You are not black if you don't know. So just that little bit taught me that, oh, being black equals being broke. And then my daddy, who is a recovering alcoholic and addict, I would always kind of mention that anytime someone would question my blackness. It's like, that was a reason. It's like, no, I know, I'm very black. I'm very black. My daddy was not around. I'm a product of my environment. I was raised by a single mother. Daddy was on crack and alcohol, and he was never there. And he was from the projects, and so that kind of gave me some street cred, saying that, because again, you don't want to get too big for your britches or too far behind. But so that's how that kind of played out. Then we move on to fear number 4. No, I think this is the last fear. We talked about fear of success. We talked about fear of being seen and famous, fear of abandonment. So yes, the final fear, fear of failure. Now, this is kind of overlapping with fear of success, because really fear of success and fear of failure, they present themselves similarly. Okay. And so the whole fear of failure thought is, it can kind of be, I won't be able to handle it. I'm not capable. These are the thoughts that, come up for me. I won't be able to handle it. I won't be able to handle it. I won't be able to handle it. The responsibility, the money. Again, people will ask me for money, more money, more problems. I won't be responsible with it. I won't be able to manage it properly. I won't be able to keep it. Again, fear of being, won't be able, if I do have it, I'll self-sabotage it. And so the fear of failure really is, again, it's all about just being afraid of not being able to handle it and be capable. And so today, this morning, when I don't know, every day I have just really been trying to lean in. My mantra this year is, I can meet my needs, damn it. I can meet my own needs. I don't want to be asking anybody, not even the government, for no handouts, no money, no nothing. I don't want to ask any of my family members, my friends. I can meet my own need. And so I had to remember that at one point I was meeting my own needs. And so here's what the solution is to releasing these fear-based thoughts and beliefs, okay? And me coming out of it. Now, I had this question before because I have shared my journey about, I'm very, very self-aware about all of my fears. And I had this question one time. It's like, well, you know all of these things, so why can't you just get out of it or overcome it or whatever? But that's not how the brain works. That's not how trauma works. I can conceptualize very well what the problem is, why I'm doing the problem. I can trace it on back to a memory of when I was 2. However, that's the conscious belief. The subconscious, or the sub, meaning below conscious, like you're not aware of the reason why. No. Your actions come from your subconscious beliefs, right? And so I'm aware of the subconscious beliefs, but in order to not keep producing the same results, I have to change my thoughts, change my beliefs. And so that's what I have been doing, is really, really working on changing that. And the solution to doing that I have found, because I say solution, meaning that I know that when I do these things, when being the operative word here, when, then I feel better, and then my nervous system calms down, and then I'm able to think, and then I'm able to move and get into the action. The problem has been is that I have, once I start to get some momentum going, then the fear-based thoughts come in, the actions, the old habits and patterns follow that, and then I'm back in the same place over and over again. So solutions. Number one, acknowledging what is and deal with it. I have to acknowledge. So that part I got the acknowledge it part, the awareness part, but the dealing with it part sometimes is the problem, because a lot of times I will ignore what the problem is. And we do this. We will procrastinate. We know that something, like, not even like looking at my money, not going into my account because I'm afraid to see how little is in there. Maybe a bill might come in, or maybe I'll have a feeling of just feeling really bad. I'll have these thoughts about things are not working out. Something will happen in the 3D in my life, and I will react to it. That's the other thing, not responding to it. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, acknowledging it and dealing with it. So, stop avoiding my problems. And here are the number one ways that I would avoid my problems: smoking trees, scrolling on all the platforms, bed rotting while I'm scrolling. Bed rotting is where you just can't get out of bed. You just stay in the bed and all day long. You get up to go pee and maybe get you a snack, and then you get back into bed. So all of these are like negative coping mechanisms. They are, ways of self abandoning. I was also very, trying to learn how to love myself. And what I realized about loving myself is self love isn't just, going to the spa and getting your nails done, or, um, saying to yourself, I love you, I love me, and all of that. And it's that, but it's really meeting your own needs. And so I go back to that. I meet my own needs. And that means, eating right, going to the doctor. That's the other way self sabotage. I, knowing I'm also very self aware and aware of the holistic things that I can do in order to bring my body back in balance. My weight has fluctuated up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's all basically been based on how I feel. And so, I've been plant-based before for almost a year, or a little bit over a year, lost weight, and then started back eating. I'm pretty much 80% plant-based, 20% other. I don't like deprive myself anymore. But I used to be very, I haven't cleansed in over a year, and really. So anyway, my point is, things that you do, so you're eating bad, eating all kinds of junk food. You're emotionally eating. You are not exercising. You are. That's another thing I had been doing. You are not making important appointments for yourself, like going to the doctors, getting your checkups, going to the dentist, bathing. These are all signs of, can all be signs of like, depression as well, self-abandonment, but it's kind of like, which came first? Am I depressed because I ain't got no money, or I ain't got no money because I'm depressed? That's neither here nor there. At any point, whenever these are the signs to know that that your body is out of balance, that you're in your nervous system is in flight, fight, freeze response. You're just avoiding your life. When you're avoiding your life and you're not dealing with your problems, it can look different for everybody, but that's one of the big, those are the few things that I know in my life that I notice when I am really struggling. So these are the ways that I deal with it. How do you deal with it? These are the ways I deal, and hopefully they can work for you too. Number one, you got to have some sort of spiritual practice. Okay? Whether that be, for me, I mean, my background is as a Baptist. I done been dipped in the water, been saved and all of that. But I consider myself more spiritual than religious at this point. I do believe in God. So my spiritual practices are to pray, and talk to God and my angels. I believe in, that everybody has their own team of angels. You can call them, some people might call them spiritual guides, the ancestors, whatever you want to call them. So, and I just literally, I will ask for guidance. That's what prayer is to me. I pray and, pray. I don't remember the actual verse, not in supplication, but where it's like, when, God, when? Why, God, why? Not like that. Okay. I've done that. Do it whenever you go, come as you are and go as you are. I've definitely been in my closet crying, rocking back and forth, asking why, but I have found that those are not productive prayers. Whatever the verse is where you ask and you shall seek. No, ask and it be answered. Ask, seek, and you shall find. Ask. You know what I'm talking about. All of that. And then the other verse, pray prayers of thanksgiving and gratitude. So that may look like, and then when you pray, ask for actual solutions. So for me, it might look like, I'm like, God, I'll tell him all the problems that I'm having. I want to thank you. They say start with gratitude, but for me, I have to release the negative emotions and feelings first in order for me to feel that gratitude, because otherwise it just feels fake to me. It's kind of like saying affirmations when you don't really believe it. You got to really, get all of that off. You have to release the negative emotions. I have found calling a thing. I hate my life. I wish I was dead. I want to be, whatever your struggles are, when is this going to end? I hate all. So going and saying, letting God, these are all the problems that I'm really struggling with. I really, really need your help. Angels, I really, really need your help and support. Can you help me? And this is what I ask. What are the solutions to XYZ problem? Please bring to mind, this is the prayers that I pray. Please bring to mind some solutions that will help me get out of this problem. I also don't ask to necessarily get rid of the problem, because at the end of the day, if you've ever prayed for patience, if you've ever prayed for, what is the other one that you pray for? Oh, I can't think. That's the number one thing I can think of. Like, if you pray for patience, there's going to be a circumstance to not test you, but give you the opportunity to practice. That's what it is. The patience. Right? So that's why I'm the mother of the wild child that I have, because apparently I asked for this before I came to this planet, and I'm just the person to usher in, to deal. I'm the person to handle all of these quote unquote problems. I'm the person that can, I'm capable enough to handle these problems. I'm the mother that is best for the child that I have, right? So being grateful for that as well, and knowing that these challenges and obstacles and everything that are happening, they're not happening to you, they're happening for you in order for you to grow. I learned more about the presence of God and what God can do for me because of all of these challenges. As sucky as they are, I know that they are, the whole point of them is to get me closer to God. And because I believe that we are all created in the image of God, that means I'm also God, right? Okay, some people might think that's a blasphemous thing, but that's how I interpret that scripture to mean. And so, and God also, the scripture also talks about God being within. So that means I created this sucky life. I can create a better life for myself. But I can't do that unless I'm dealing with the problems, unless I am asking for help and I'm asking for solutions, and not just going to God and complaining, but really asking for help. And then at the end of that, trusting, that's the big thing, trusting that, and having faith that he will do, he, it, she, they will do what he, it, she, they said, and believing in that. Okay? And so, and then you just make a declaration. You know exactly what you want, and then you go to him in prayer. And when you receive the answer, so you go into prayer and you ask God, God, please bring me some solutions of how I can create money. And even I've learned that that's not really what we want. We don't necessarily, I do want the money, let's be clear, but it's only because the money brings the experience that I desire, the freedom. You know, I don't want the money. Like, I love nice things, but I'm so excited and looking forward to the freedom that I once had in being able to do what I wanted to do, go where I wanted to go, not having to look at price tags, not having to ask for anything, like feeling very independent and confident that I could handle anything, right? If my car broke down, I just go to get it, you know, I could pay $500 off the rip. Anywho, so remembering that I was there and that that's still who I am. I'm remembering, that's what I'm doing. I'm remembering who I am in that. And trusting that I can meet my own needs. And I'm reaffirming that. So whenever I come up with these negative emotions, that's what I do. I acknowledge it, and then I pray about it, And then I just practice all of these other tools. I practice. That's the next thing I do. I practice and I use all of my tools to bring me back into balance that will allow receiving. Because what I'm doing is I'm really, these negative beliefs that I have are blocking me receiving and blocking me allowing this abundance and this money to come into my life again. So, number one tool that I use, and when I use it today, like today, I spent between emotional freedom techniques, EFT, meridian tapping, journaling, getting a key word of the day. This is like my practice. I get a key word of the day from my spiritual guides, and then I will meditate, literally like meditate on what that word means and what they mean. Like getting quiet. When I don't pick up my phone, do not pick up your phone the first thing you do when you roll out of bed. These are the things I have to do. I have to get up, make my bed, get out of the bed, go go to the bathroom, make my tea and drink my water, get a key word of the day, meditate on the key word of the day. And then at that point, it's either, okay, if I'm feeling kind of sucky, maybe I might journal my feelings. If I don't have the capacity to journal because I be feeling like, I'm too anxious and I got to do something, then that's when I will tap. And I'll have to do another video about that. But go Google it. There is scientific evidence that it works. You can do it on any and everything. Main things that I use it for are for negative beliefs, negative feelings. It's also been proven to work on PTSD, smoking, to quit addictions, overeating, pain. Yeah, so just go Google it. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool that when I don't tell myself, I don't have time for that. When I actually do it, when I make time for myself, that's the other thing. When you stop avoiding making time for yourself and put yourself first, there's so much, it just opens up everything for you. Instead of, I notice, scrolling and watching other people live their lives and doing stuff that I'm like, I know how to do that. I've said that thing. I can do that. No, I need to get it in my own bag and get out there and do it. So EFT, self-havening. That's another tool. It, incorporates what they call like kind of like therapeutic touch, where you're rubbing on your shoulders. I kind of discovered this on accident on one of them days I was in my closet crying, and rubbing your shoulders, giving yourself a hug. I would literally hug myself and pat myself and start talking to myself. I discovered that on my own, but there's like scientific evidence. Talking to yourself in third person, talking to you, because, really at the end of the day, we want to hear the things that we want to hear. The I am statements are nice, but really the you are statements I find work best, because we want to hear, I try to tell myself the things that I want to hear from other people, because we value other people's words. And those other people's words have like impacted us negatively and traumatized us. So those same people that we want to hear the words and want the actions from, we just give it to ourselves. That's true self-love, is you give whatever you feel like you're lacking, that you need from outside, that you're seeking from outside. You give that to yourself. That's why my mantra is, I can meet my own needs. I can be my biggest supporter. I'm my biggest supporter. So self-havening, rubbing on your shoulders, this is also part of it. And then also rubbing on your face. I started incorporating while I'm rubbing, rubbing on my shoulders. I will then incorporate self-compassion and talking to myself. Stacey, you've had a hard time. You've been going through so much. You've had such a hard time. I understand, sweetheart, you have been through so much. No wonder you can't get out of bed. No wonder and I just start naming stuff that is just fucked up. All this time, I shouldn't have to be, raising this child by myself. I didn't lay down and have sex with myself. You know what I'm saying? So you tell, it's okay. You're working really hard. I understand that. You're an awesome mom. You're an awesome woman, and then this is so then therapy. I'm in therapy, been in therapy a little bit. I finally found a good therapist, and my heart goes out to anybody that has struggled with finding a good therapist, because I'm telling you, finding a good therapist is like finding a good man. And the one that I'm finally with, I stuck with her, been with her for over a year. She was my sixth one. I'll talk about therapy trauma on another video, because them last few that I had pretty much re-traumatized me. But anyway, so trauma therapy. Talk therapy does not work for me, and I know for a lot of people it does not. There also have been some new studies that come out and show that really talking about your trauma just kind of like re-traumatizes you. So using somatics, like somatics are like EFT is part of somatics. Self-having somatics is like body, therapy and releasing trauma through your body. That's kind of like what somatic therapy is. And so EMDR is a type of trauma therapy, stands for eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And all that basically means is it's similar to EFT, where, we're tapping on certain points of the meridian. Like, it's like tapping is a mixture of acupressure and behavioral psychology, where you're, and EMDR works to, in the office, you have like, you can either use what they call vibrators. Well, no, they're not vibrators. They vibrate, but they're called tappers. And they work on both sides of the brain. It's like a bilateral stimulation somehow. Either you are used like either a laser, or not a laser, but like some sort of thing going back and forth. Well, I'm doing most of the time I'm doing online therapy. And so there's like this ball going back and forth. I'm not sure if there's like anywho, go Google it. But it works to like balance both sides of the brain, and literally you tell you're like, an emotion comes up, and you work on the emotion and the traumatic experience, and somehow it like rewires your brain or something. So this is like what is still part of EMDR, and I'm when I'm feeling stressed out, I'll use this. Sometimes I don't use this as much as I do the EFT, because when I do this, then I'll usually go into the self-havening. But anyway, so EFT, self-havening therapy, EMDR therapy, journaling. These are all the tools that help bring me back into balance. Self-compassion, listening to subliminals. I've here lately, pretty much the last few months, I've been listening to, go to her channel, high frequency guru. She has subliminals and what they call rampages, where it's subliminals are, you can't necessarily hear the affirmations and all of that, but she has like a whole script that tells you exactly what it is that you're listening to. Unlike some of these other people, you don't even know what the hell they're programming into your head. But then she also has like rampages where you can actually hear what she's saying. I fully believe that that also plays a part. I listen to them every night, go to sleep with them with the earbuds in, different frequencies. There's studies about subliminals and frequencies and all of that. So I listen to that. I listen to positive podcasts on YouTube. I ignore negative stuff. Like, I'm not tapped into politics. I'm not out, I can't worry about all the terrible things that are going on in this world. I mean, I have a compassion for that, but my way of helping other people is helping myself first, putting the oxygen mask on myself first, striving to live in my highest truth, so that way I can help somebody else. What did Tupac say? I'm going to be the brain. I'm going to be the one to spark the brain to do all these other fabulous things. Go look up Tupac's quote. I can't think of the whole thing, but it's something to that effect. So basically, I feel like my mission is to overcome my own issues and problems, and then I'm going to share that, how I did it, with the people that are resonated to me and my message, and hopefully that's my little contribution, or my big contribution to the world. And so overcoming all of these fears is what I need to do in order to do that. Okay, so other things that I do, and I'm coming on an hour, so ignore negative posts. Don't react to the 3D. Don't react. When I get that bill, like today, let me tell you, I can't remember I don't even know at this point how many times I have been facing eviction. This might be my 6th or 7th time. In the past 2 years, I have faced eviction 6 or 7 times. Like, eviction court is February the 6th, right? I'm, at this point, 2 months behind. It'll be 3 months, and they raised the rent. Anyway, it don't even matter, because I trust God, just like I did them other times, all them other months. I've been late on my rent pretty much every month for the past couple of years. And the fear of being kicked out, I know, he always comes in at the 11th hour. Either I'll sell a policy, or I'll get a deposit, or somebody will drop some money in my Cash App, or somebody will just help me, or thank God for the government, I'll be able to get whatever I need, and just something happens to help me. Ain't no something. God helps me, because God provides. But it's so interesting. So I was, after I had my tapping session today, and I filled myself up, because I felt all these fears coming up, because I'm trying to do something else. I'm in this, and I'll be sharing about that later. I'm in this group to try to really, this business group, to help me offer, it's free, by the way, to help me offer my services and really just living my purpose and everything. Doing this content creation is part of it, but I have a dream to have several forms of multiple streams of income. And one of them is to really just give back and have this offer. There's so many different things I could be doing. I've started and stopped. Anyway, I lost train of thought. Exercise. Don't react to negative people. Oh, I was talking about doing all of this, and I was feeling really good. And, I journaled, I EFT. I'm like, I'm good. I took care of all the things I needed. I stopped avoiding my problems. Like I said, I made an appointment for a colonoscopy that I've been putting off for over a year, even though I have a severe, extreme case of colon cancer in my family and cancer in general. I made appointments for my child. I've dealt with, all of my carrier debt. I've just dealt with all of my problems. I wrote down everything, planning, in my journal, my bullet journal, and in my best today guide. I know what I need to do. Like, I have a plan that has helped me. So, but after I got done, maybe an hour or so later, I was just kind of dealing with my problems. And here I see the sheriff coming that was parked all the way up the street. And I'm like, I know he ain't coming down here, because I didn't already got my eviction letter for this month in the mail several weeks ago. And so he sure enough come pulling in my driveway. This is the first time I've ever actually met him, because usually it's just stuck on my door. And I said, well, you kind of late, ain't you? He said, oh yeah. He said, you already got one in the mail? He's like, yeah. He said, I'm usually the one that comes by. And I'm like, well, as right when I was getting ready to, I looked it over and I was like, oh yeah, that's the same one. I said, February the 6th. And I said, right as I was getting ready to say, well, this is going to be the last time that you coming over here. He said, well, I'll see you again next month. I said, no, you will not. The hell you will. I said, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus and everything holy. Cancel. You will not. And I declare and decree that. So yeah, I don't react. I'm not reacting to the negative. I'm only trusting God and believing and remembering who I am and whose I am, and from where, and remembering all the other times he done got me out of it, all the other times I've gotten myself out of it. So don't react to the negative people. Don't react to negative consequences or negative circumstances. And I don't react to negative comments. And I try not to anyway, because I love me some arguing. My friend called me the great Negro debater. I still get triggered. But anywho, exercise. Today I did some exercise. Ballet bar is my favorite, since I've been able to exercise now. Stretching and yoga. Taking care of yourself, number one. Meeting all your needs. Boundaries, having boundaries. Go outside, and then when it's warm, I can ground, take my shoes off, and be in the grass. Taking my vitamins, going to doctor's appointments. I already said that. And just dealing with your problems. See, I'm saying your because I'm talking to myself. Deal with your problems and obstacles as they come. You can meet your own needs, Stacy. I can meet my own needs, exclamation point. So with that being said, I hope that this has helped somebody who also might be going through the same thing. And I want you to be encouraged that you can meet your own needs. You also are deserving and worthy of receiving and allowing. And so if you are aware of any of these thoughts or behaviors that have kept you broke, then I would love for you to, try out any of the solutions that have worked for me, to kind of stay consistent. And just don't beat yourself up when you can't do what you can't do. That's where the self-compassion comes in. And on that note, I hope that anybody that's made it through this very long video, I appreciate it so much. And I would love for you to, I should have said that earlier, to subscribe, share, leave a comment, like, and all of that. Because you help out my channel. My goal is to become monetized on all of my platforms. And then also, if you are interested in donating to me or my channel, my Cash App is I am Stacey Robinson. All right. And it's also in the description, the page description. All right. So I hope this blesses somebody. Peace and so much love.